up, everybody, and welcome back to Rock Talk 101. And it is finally here, the greatly waited and anticipated Slash signature series, Epiphone Les Paul. This is the one in the Appetite Burst, or it's the one from Appetite for Destruction. And yes, it is finally here, and I am going to do a very honest review, the pros and cons of this, what I like, what I don't like about this guitar. And we're going to ask that great big question that everybody's been asking and been complaining about. Is it really worth $900? That's a big question. Now, here's the thing. It's actually about $950, $960, depending on what shipping costs you. I'm pretty sure it was $950 to my door for this guitar. So, yeah, this is it. It is here. Check it out. And all its lovely AFD burst looking self. It is actually a very, very beautiful guitar. I do have the strap locks that came with it on here. They're actually easy to put on and they click right in place very well. So that's why I'm wearing the strap, because it actually is the strap locks that came with it. But let's dive into this guitar. And yes, I know I flubbed a few notes playing that intro, but that's okay. It's rock and roll. It happens, and that's just how it is. So anybody that wants to complain about that, feel free to dig me about it. I know I messed up a couple of notes, but it's all right. It was a whole thing all about getting into the slashy style of what's going on. And you got to play Guns N' Roses stuff if you got a Slash Signature Series guitar. You just have to do it. So, with that being said, let's dive into this guitar. And let's first talk about my intro. If you guys saw in the intro, I showed the guitar in its case. So, the case that this guitar came with is amazing. It's super nice. One of the nicest cases I've actually seen. And the guitar fits like a glove in that case. The case is super nice, awesome, very well made. So the case that they send this guitar in, super awesome. And that's why I kind of shot the intro the way I did, so you guys could actually see the case that it comes in. It comes with an Epiphone sticker and a couple other things in there. Nothing really great or anything. There's no signature thing that says it's Slash guitar, no serial numbers, nothing like that in there. But it's a super nice case. So the case that they put in there, I mean, it's a really high dollar case. So that's really awesome. So that's one of the really cool pros about this guitar that we'll start off right out the gate, is they did put a really nice case in there for it. Now, let's talk about the guitar itself. And I don't know where, there's my phone. I actually need to pull up the specs for you guys while I'm doing this. But let's talk about the guitar itself. So, the guitar on first looks and everything and first appearances is really, really, really nice. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful guitar. Very well made. I didn't have any issues with this guitar when I got it, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, because there are a few cons that I want to talk about. It's kind of on Epiphone, and we're going to discuss it when I get into it. But when this guitar came, this guitar, I mean, it's just a gorgeous guitar. Very well made. I couldn't find any imperfections or issues on it at all. Just very well done and a very beautiful guitar. Now, with that being said, beauty is the eye of the beholder, I guess you could say, and we all have our things that we like and we don't like about guitars, and you can nitpick a guitar apart for all you want to. And if you guys wondering what I'm doing, is I forgot to do this in the beginning. I usually pull up the specs, which most of you guys, any of you swinging dicks that are probably watching this, already know what the specs are on this, because you guys have been following this for a while, and I've been seeing what people have been saying about this guitar, and there's been a lot of positive, but a lot of negative. There's been a lot of negative stuff out there on this guitar, and so it's kind of been interesting to watch the comments and stuff of people talking about this guitar, and just seeing what people are saying about it, and is it going to pull up for me or not. Shot by category, guitars, electric. Yeah, I have to do all this stuff. So you guys are going to have to bear with me for a second, because I totally screwed the pooch on having this done. So we're going to put this on here, and we're going to hit the filters real quick. Go to brands, and that's the easiest way to do what I need to do. And then click on there. And we're almost there, and we're almost good to go. And we should be able to find it now. So anyway, back to the guitar. So first inspection, guitar looks amazing. Just very well put together. I was very pleased with the aesthetics of the guitar. Just a really beautiful guitar. Now, I'm going to read off the specs to you guys, so you guys can get the specs. For those of you that don't know the specs of this guitar, This is what they call this the appetite burst. Is what they're calling it, and it's from the Appetite for Destruction because this is a guitar he was playing on the album, so that's the one. Now we're going to read off the specs for you guys because I always do that and then I put my stupid phone down and go into the guitar. So let's click on the specs here. Scroll down. So you guys ready? Here goes the specs. Specifications for the guitar. The body is a flame maple top. It's a mahogany wood body, and it's got a gloss finish. The neck shape is a C shape. We're going to talk about the neck shape too because that's kind of important. It's got mahogany neck. It's joint set in neck, 24.75 inch scale length. The fingerboard is an Indian Laurel fingerboard, medium jumbo frets on it, 22 frets. Got a Graphtec nut on it. The electronics configuration is humbuckers. You got a proprietary humbucker in the neck, proprietary humbucker in the bridge, and you guys know what those things are. We already know what they are. They're called custom pro buckers, and we're going to talk about that as well. We're going to get into that because I know that's one of the big issues about how come his signature series Seymour Duncan's in there, or why isn't there at least a Gibson burst bucker in there, or something like that. That's been the huge arguments. Blah blah blah. We'll get into all that stuff. You got control layout, standard Les Paul layout. You know, you got the volumes. You got 2 volumes for your switches, one top, one bottom, and tone. And then you've got your bridge types, fixed bridge, stop tail bar. You got the vintage style tuners. And I'll tell you something, I love these tuners. These tuners feel really amazing. They're super awesome. There's no play, no wiggle in them. And this guitar stays in tune really well. That's something you guys should know. So that's really good. And that pretty much covers the whole specs, other than you get the nice case with it. So there's the specs for you guys. We're going to delete out of that. So that's the basic specs. You know, you got standard burst buckers in there. I know a lot of people are complaining. They're not standard though. From what I understand with the pickups, they're a custom wound burst bucker to Slash's specifications, and their extra wound is what I've been told and what I've researched and asked about, and that's what they're saying. So they're not just a plain burst bucker or plain humbucker from Epiphone. It's one to Slash's specifications. So that's what they said. So it's supposed to be different. From what I understand, it's supposed to be different than their regular, you know, pro bucker. Excuse me, not burst bucker. I was saying burst bucker, but the regular pro bucker. So it's supposed to be a custom pro bucker, not a custom burst bucker. So sorry about that. That's what I've been told. It's supposed to be extra wound to Slash's specifications. So that's the deal with the pickups. And I will say this. To me, the pickups sound fine. I got 0 issues with the pickups. Would I like Slash's Seymour Duncan's in there? Hell yeah, who wouldn't? You know, for $200, you know, you can drop his in there and you're good to go. And you can throw it in there. Yeah, that puts the guitar up to like $1,100. I know, and stuff. But you can do that if you want to. I'm not going to do it because I don't feel the guitar needs it. But that's my personal opinion. You guys are going to have to play one and hear it for yourselves. I am going to play the guitar so you guys can hear it. You can hear the sounds that I'm going to do out of it. And then you guys can make a decision for yourself. But as far as the build and the quality of the build of the guitar, I feel it's put together really well. You know, we can bitch and complain about the pickups all night long, and we can argue one way or the other about them because I know they're comparing it to the 59 that they put out and stuff, and they're comparing apples to oranges and all that because I know the 59 has Gibson burst buckers in it, and they're like, why couldn't they at least put a USA Gibson burst bucker in it? I don't know why. I don't have the answers for that. I'm just reviewing the guitar as it is to see if it's worth you guys shelling out that kind of money because that's a lot of money. $900 is a lot of money for a guitar. You know, and you expect certain things. I understand there's people that are upset, and some people are happy about it, some people aren't. You know, for me, I'm a huge Slash fan, so I was willing to give it a whirl. And if I end up not liking the guitar, I'll just sell it. Or I'll hang it on the wall, and it'll be my collector's Slash signature series guitar, and I'll just deal with it. But I don't think that's going to happen. So let's get into the guitar a little more. This guitar, I mean, the knobs are really nice. They're nice and tight. They feel really good. They're not super tight, not super loose. They just feel really good. The switch feels really good. It's working just fine. I know that some people are complaining because there's a little bit more of a custom switch on the 59 than there's on this. This is regular Epiphone switch. A switch is a switch, you know. And if the switch, you know, has an issue, I'll replace it and put another switch in it. It's not a big deal to me when it comes to the switches. You know, they wear out. If you play as much as I do, you wear them out and you got to replace them. So you're not going to have that switch in there forever anyway. So that's just part of playing if you play a lot. So sometimes that's nitpicky stuff to me, but if you guys want to pick it apart, that's fine. For me, no problems with the switch, no problems with the input jack. The guitar plays really well, feels really well. And I really have been enjoying playing it. I mean, I gotta say, I've really been enjoying playing it. Is it enjoyable to $950 worth? I don't know yet. I gotta say, it has a really great feel. And let's talk about the neck. Let's get into the neck, because everybody's like, oh, neck. Well, I'll tell you something. This neck, I have a Les Paul Standard, and this neck is not like that neck. This neck is a little different. Now, I don't know what Slash likes in his necks or what he does, and what is his thing, but this neck definitely has a different feel than I have. I have 3 other Les Pauls, and this neck feel. I have a Standard, I have a Standard Pro, and then I have a Classic. And this neck is totally different than any one of those necks. So that is one of the things that I did notice that is different on this guitar. It has a whole different feel, this neck does, but it's a really good feel. It's a thicker neck, but it's skinnier here. It's not wide this way, it's thicker this way, and so it's still very playable and very easy to play. So I don't have any complaints with that either. It feels really good. I can play it really well, and I'm not having any issues with it. So I've really been enjoying the guitar. So yeah, that's a really good pro as far as it goes with me. So the other thing that I'll tell you is different is the thickness of the body. This body is not quite as thick as my Standard or my Standard Pro or even my Classic. This body is a hair thinner than that, and it's also lighter. This guitar has good weight to it and feels really good, but it's lighter than those guitars. Well, the Standard Pro is a pretty light guitar as well, but my regular Standard is a lot heavier, and the Classic probably feels about the same weight as the Classic. The Classic has weight relief in it, and I don't think they did weight relief in this. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they did that in these. I could be wrong. I don't know. I didn't hear anything about that, but it's got a good Les Paul feel weight to it, but it's not so heavy that it's going to wear you out playing for long periods of time. And that's one thing that I was pleasantly surprised with this guitar, is that it's not as heavy as some of my other Les Pauls, and that made me happy because I can play it through a show, because some of my Les Pauls I can only use for a couple songs. They're so dang heavy, they just wear me out, and I can't play them that long. But this one I know I can do a whole gig with and be happy with. So with that stuff being said, how about let's dive into playing. And I'm giving you all the pros right now, and then we're going to get into the cons after that, because there are a few cons, and I'm going to be straight up with you guys about the cons and the things that there were some issues, and we're going to talk about it. But let's just do a little playing. We're going to rip out a little Slash for you guys. The intro stuff that I did, we're going to do that. Maybe we should do something different, because that was doing a little just a little intro of the Paradise City, and so I have that dialed in right here right now. So we're going to play that lead again for you. And I'm going to do it a couple different ways. So I'm going to play that lead all the way up here on the rhythm, because that's where he plays it at. And I actually recorded this on my looper. The looping track was recorded with this guitar. And so this is the looper track to that we're playing right now. And that's actually played, that is played in the center. Messed it up on the last lick, but that's okay. But that gives you an idea kind of how that sounds. That's on the rhythm. Let's do that on the lead without that playing, so you can hear the middle. Actually, we'll play it again. We'll do it again. We're going to play it in the middle position now, so you guys can hear it. sounds like in the lead position. Here's some of that. So yeah, I think it sounds pretty good. And just so you guys know, let me tell you what I'm playing through. So you guys know, playing through my Blackheart, a 15-watt tube amp, going through this Black Star cabinet. I am using a Metal Zone distortion pedal with a more chorus and more delay, and they're all on. So that's what I'm running, so you guys know what I'm using. So that helps you kind of figure out what I'm playing. But yeah, I think the guitar sounds really good. I don't think it sounds bad at all. And it really has good sustain when you hit that. Yeah, I don't think the guitar sounds bad at all. I think it sounds really good. And I had the tone down that. So I had the tone turned down a little bit for that on this right here. So that was the tone about halfway. This is the tone off. Let's do that again. So yeah, I don't think this guitar sounds bad at all. It sounds really good to me. I mean, it really just has a really good sustain, nice clean tones. And like I said, I had the tone on that turned down a little bit. That little softer thing, because Slash plays with his tone knobs a lot. And he messes with those tone knobs a lot. And so that's how he gets a lot of his tone. And so I've been messing around with that too. But that gives you an idea how that sounds. Let's do a couple other things. We're going to kick it up to the rhythm pickup. And we're going to do a little Sweet Child of Mine for you guys and see what you guys think about it. If I can remember how to play it. I'll probably screw it up, so bear with me. So that started off on the rhythm pickup, and then I kick down to the lead pickup, to the bridge pickup when I do that part. So that's kind of how I played that. Start off rhythm with the strums, and went to that lead to kick it up. So, and I had the volume turned down just a little bit on that rhythm pickup up here on the neck, and then the volume was cranked all the way up when I was doing it on the lead. But that gives you an idea of some of the distortion sounds. Let's do another one. Well, actually, let's play some cleans for you guys. Let's do some cleans for you. So, just some cleans, and I don't know if I can remember this right. So this is going to be clean. Everything's turned up. This is going to be down on the bridge pickup. So that is playing on the bridge pickup. Now we're going to play the middle. We're going to play both pickups. And if you kick that volume all the way up, this is what it's going to sound like. If you roll that volume back just a hair. That sounds really, really good to me. Now we're going to take it up to the rhythm pickup, and we're going to play with the volume turned all the way up first. If you roll that volume just a little bit, just roll it off just a hair. Sounds really, really nice. And you got to roll your volumes off a little bit. When you want really nice, clean tones, you got to roll that volume off a hair. And I do that with all my guitars. You know, you don't have to, but you will sometimes get a little bit of breakup depending on the guitar. But I just always roll it off a little bit of hair to get that really nice, really clean. Let me just get a really nice, really nice, clean sound. And you can't tell me that doesn't sound good. Well, you can't tell me that doesn't sound good. Sounds really good to me. Sounds really good in here. It really the guitar sounds really, really good. There's nothing wrong with the pickups in this guitar. The guitar sounds really, really good and plays really well. So I really have no complaints. Out, really resonates. I mean, really no complaints with this guitar. I gotta tell you, I mean, it really just plays really, really well. I love Les Pauls. I'm a huge Slash fan, and I'm not disappointed in this guitar. Would I like the Seymour Duncan Slashes? Yeah, I would have. But as far as the playability, as far as the feel and everything, the finish of this guitar, it is really, really, really nice. And let's play a couple more Guns N' Roses tunes for you guys. We're going to do a couple more things, and then we're going to wrap this whole thing up. Yeah, you can't go wrong. This guitar sounds really, really good. I mean, if you guys are a Les Paul fan and you're a Slash fan, you'll probably end up liking this guitar. You may replace the pickups. You may not. You'll probably like this guitar. We got to get back to the elephant in the room, though. The elephant in the room, is it worth the $900? That's the real elephant that we got to talk about. The elephant in the room. Is it worth $900? I think that boils down to the individual person, if it's worth $900 or not. $900 is a lot of money. It's about $950 once you get it shipped to you. That's a tough question to answer, because for some people, I think it's going to be worth the money. I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised with it and happy with it, and they're going to be willing to shell out the money for it because they're Slash fans and they want a Signature Series Slash guitar and they can't afford the Gibson version, so they're going to buy this version of that guitar. So, is it going to be worth it to some people? Yes. Is it going to be worth it to others? No. There's going to be other people that are going to get it and they're going to hate it and they're going to be disappointed and they're going to send it back. But that's with every guitar out there. For me, I got to say I'm pretty happy with it so far, and I don't know what else to say about that other than I'm happy with it. Am I $950 happy with it? I don't know. I don't know yet. I really don't know. There's other guitars that I bought and I paid the price for those guitars and instantly had no questions about it and felt that the guitar was worth every amount of money I paid for it. I gotta say the jury's still out on this guitar, and I'm gonna tell you why, because now we're gonna get into the cons of this guitar, and this is something that is disappointing about Epiphone and disappointing that a guitar of this price you have to deal with. Does that make sense? So the first con that I want to talk to you guys about is this isn't the first guitar I received. The first guitar I received had a cracked neck and was missing a chunk. Right up here along the binding, right there on this spot, there was about a 2-inch crack, and there was a BB sized piece of wood just gone. And there was like a little sliver splint that went there, and you could see that crack plain as day. Like you couldn't miss it. As soon as I took the bubble wrap off, and the guitar's like 1.5 to 2 feet away from me, I saw it instantly. And so that was disappointing. So I had to send that one back. And the place that I had gotten that one from was out of them, so I couldn't get a replacement from them. So I had to get them to refund my money. In the meantime, I had to wait because they had the November burst. And I said, well, just send me the November burst. But because of the way we did the transactions, they had to wait to reimburse me, and then I had to reorder it. And by the time I got reimbursed money, they were sold out of all their Slash guitars. And so I wasn't able to get it. So I had to hunt down another one. And I finally found a place that had another one, and I ordered it from them. And fortunately, I was able to get this one in. So this is actually my second one that I've had. The first one came in. I didn't even, as soon as I picked it up, saw the crack in it and stuff, I put it right back in the case, wrapped it up, called the company, and sent it right back. Literally, I had that guitar in my house probably, it might have been in my house 20 minutes, and that's because I had to unbox it and look at it. And it was literally wrapped back up, packaged up. Within an hour, they'd sent me a return shipping label, and within 2 hours, that thing was literally back at the shipper and leaving. And it was pretty disappointing. So I had to wait for this one for a little while. And so I got this one in. This one was fine. Let's talk about the playability of the guitar out of the box. So out of the box, coming out of the case, the guitar was playable, but it was not set up very well. Okay, it was playable. The action was okay, but it was kind of high for me. I don't like really high action. It was kind of high. The intonation was totally out of whack. The intonation, it wasn't intonated very well at all. I won't say, let's not say totally out of whack, but the intonation was off. It was off. It was off by enough that it shouldn't have been off as much as it was. So, the other thing is the neck needed some adjusting as well. So, what I ended up doing with this guitar, and the reason why I say it's so playable and everything, is because I have a guitar tech, and I took it to my guitar tech, and he took it and he totally set it up for me. He had to adjust the neck, he did the intonation, and just got it set up really good. He didn't have to do a whole lot, but I always replace the strings because the strings that come on it, just so you guys know, are crap. They ring and buzz and sound like shit. I mean, I don't know why you're paying. You know, that's a disappointment too. You're paying almost $1,000 for guitar, and they can't put on a decent set of strings for you. They put on shitty, cheap ass strings. They were crappy. They rang and buzzed and just they sounded awful. So they had to come off instantly. I played the Dario XL Gauge 10s, 10 through 46 is what I run on all my guitars. And so we did a new set of strings. We did a neck adjustment, and then we had to do. The other thing we had to do is we had to adjust the pickups a little bit. The pickups were okay, but they needed to be adjusted a little bit. They need a little bit of tweaking. Not a lot, but they need a little bit of tweaking. And then we had to do the intonation on it. So there was a few things that needed to be done. Nothing that if you know how to do that stuff yourself, you couldn't do yourself. And I do know how to do that stuff, but my guitar tech is phenomenal, and he's way better at it than I am. So he always gets my work. And gets to do it, and he does such an amazing job on setting up my guitars that he's worth every dime that I pay him. Now, I can't tell you what he charges me because he's a good friend of mine, and he doesn't charge me what he charges other people to work on their guitars. But your average setup is going to cost you about $50, and that's with a new set of strings put on there. So for $50, you can take it to, you know, $40-50. You can take it to your local guitar place, and there's some guy that works there, Guitar Center, and they'll set it up, put the right strings on it that you want, and it'll be a sweet playing guitar. And yeah, I recommend you do that with every guitar, no matter what guitar you get. But the disappointment for me is that I personally feel that out of the box, for a guitar of this magnitude and this price, that the guitar should be playable right out of the box, and you shouldn't have to do that stuff. And I also think that you should have a decent set of strings on there. So that's a big disappointment as well with a guitar at this price range, that it didn't come set up very well. And that really is shitty, because for people that don't know how to do that or don't have somebody that they can get to do it, it really sucks for them, because they're going to get a guitar and they think that that's the way it's supposed to be, and it's not. And believe it or not, those little things, just adjusting your intonation and having it set right, the guitar plays better, sounds better, it's going to be in tune like it's supposed to be. And so those are big things to me. They may seem like little things, but that's a big thing when you're paying over $900 for a guitar. And I think that those are things that need to be rectified. You know, I think they need to watch their quality control, because that first guitar that I got, it wasn't because of shipping that it was damaged, because the box and everything came fine. That was something that happened at the factory, and they still put that in there and shipped it. Even with it being damaged, they still sent it out. So that's on Epiphone. That's a quality control issue from them at their shop, which is disappointing as well, because to send a guitar that you can visibly see that has a cracked neck on it, that's crazy to me. And for that kind of price, I mean, yeah, fortunately I knew I'd be able to send it back, and I may not be able to get another guitar, but at least get my money back. But that's disappointment. For somebody that saves up and wants a Slash signature guitar, to get one sent to them, and it comes in and it's broken, and that's how it came from the factory, because the company I got it from, they don't open those boxes. They order them, they get shipped to them, and then they ship them out to whoever buys them. They don't open them up, and it's like a wholesale supplier kind of place. And so they don't open up those boxes and go into them. And so to get a guitar from the factory like that, I mean, that's on them. That's their fault. I didn't blame it on the people I ordered it from. It's on the factory. And that's a disappointment, because this is an expensive guitar, man. I mean, you're talking about almost $1,000 for an Epiphone. I mean, that's a chunk of change, man. And for, you know, $300 more, I mean, you can buy a damn Les Paul Tribute for that. You know, and I almost did that. I almost said, screw it, didn't get this guitar, and was going to spend the extra $300 and just order a Gibson Les Paul Tribute. But I really wanted to get this guitar in, because I was seeing so many people posting videos about this guitar. Now, here's something that irritates me, and I want to dive into this a little bit. You can't do a review on a guitar that you've never seen or played. You can look at the specs and see the specs and be like, wow, this guitar has better specs than this one. Why is that? And this one is less than this one. I don't understand. But you can't do an honest review about a guitar unless you have it. Like I have. See, right here. It's in my hands. I'm playing it. I've been playing it. I'm telling you what I had to do and what went on with it. Here is the guitar. It's right here in my hands. I have it. So I'm giving you an honest review. I'm telling you the pros and cons and what I truly think about this guitar. And those were some disappointments that happened. The fact that I knew as soon as I got it out and strummed it a little bit that it was going to need to be set up, that it wasn't set up very well. Was it playable? Yes, it was playable. Could you have played with it? Yeah, I did play it, because I had to wait a couple days before my guitar tech could get to it. But you shouldn't have to do that. It should be set up pretty darn good out of the box. Pretty close anyway. So that kind of sucks, and I think that they need to work on that. I think they need to work on how they do their setups on their guitars, because when you're spending that kind of money on a guitar, it should come these. Now, here's the crazy thing. I have an Ibanez over there that was a $230 guitar that came set up really great out of the box. And even though my guitar tech has messed with it since, he didn't really have to do a whole lot to it. He made a couple adjustments on the pickups and lowered the action a little bit more for me, because like I said, I like it lower, but that was it. It was really set up really well and very playable right out of the box, you know. So it's ironic to me, because I have so many different guitars, and there's certain ones that have come set up really, really well, and there's other ones that haven't, and some of those are higher end guitars. If you watch my Paul Reed Smith video on my translucent blue one, I love that guitar, but that guitar that's a higher end guitar, and that guitar was out of whack. I mean, it wasn't playable when I got it, so it's very playable now, and I love it. But that was a big disappointment. But for this guitar, I think the setup should have been done better. The pickups should be adjusted better. I mean, there's a standard to how they do this stuff, and it doesn't seem like it always is set the standard. Now, I just got another Epiphone Les Paul. It's a classic. It's the Violet Burst Classic, which I will be doing a review on. I haven't done one yet. Or did I just do the review? I just did a review on the Violet one. Anyway, it's either out or coming out. I don't know if I post. Yeah, I think I posted. Yeah, the Violet one is actually out, so you can go watch that one. But that guitar came set up phenomenally out of the thing. We didn't have to do anything to that guitar. Nothing. That guitar came set up perfect out of the box. So whoever did that setup, and I don't understand how that guitar is a $450 guitar, and how that guitar could come set up so well, and then I've got this $950 guitar that wasn't set up as good. So there's obviously some quality control issues there with whoever's doing the setups in the end. I don't know if the setup person does the QC or how they do it, but I think the people that are doing the setups need to pay a little bit more attention to what they're doing. So that's my personal opinion. But those were basically the few little things that I found that were issues with the guitar itself. Is that, you know, the fact that I had to order a second one because the first one had a cracked neck. The fact that I did have to have it worked on. I had to have the neck adjusted. I had to have the pickups adjusted, and the intonation had to be redone on it. Yeah, those are things that you shouldn't have to deal with, you know. And so on that note, Epiphone, man, you know, what the hell? Come on, you guys, get your shit together. You know, you guys are trying to do better. You know. As far as me keeping this guitar or getting rid of this guitar or my final thoughts on this guitar, I'm going to keep it. I like it. I really have been enjoying playing it, especially now that it's set up the way I like it. It really plays like a dream. I got to tell you, I have zero complaints on how it plays and how it sounds with the pickups it has. I will reiterate that I get and understand everybody out there that, you know, for this price feels that there should have been Slash's Seymour Duncans in there. And I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you guys. I'm not disagreeing with you. That would have been a nice thing they could do, and I think they could have done that and had it at this price point. These custom pro buckers that they're calling them, if they're done the way they're saying that, you know, that was Slash's decision and they were wound to his specifications, then that's cool. It's a custom pro bucker. It's not a regular pro bucker. It's supposed to be a custom pro bucker. Is it really a custom pro bucker, or is it just a regular pro bucker and they're calling it a custom pro bucker because everybody's mad? I don't know. I can't answer that for you because I don't know. I don't work at the factory. I'm not friends with Slash, so I can't answer that. But I will say this. I don't think Slash is going to slap his name on a piece of crap, because I think Slash truly knows that his name is worth something and that it means something in the music world, and I don't think he wants to put out a product that sucks and attach his name to something that sucks. And he's been attached to nothing but really good stuff his whole career. I mean, ever since they got big, I mean, he's been attached to really good stuff, so I don't think he wants to do that. So I truly think that, you know, he had a lot of input on this, and at least I hope he did, and that, you know, he did have input on the pickups and what he wanted to do. So let's hope that's the case. But let me play. Do you guys want me to play? Should I play a few more things for you? Now we'll just wrap it up. You guys got to hear some of the sounds. You know, you got to hear it. I went through it. You got to hear the pickups. There's not a whole lot that you can say about a Les Paul. I ripped out a few tunes for you guys. We'll do one more. I'll do one more solo for you. I'll do one more for you. This is my outro for you guys. turn that off. I got to use a looper. Let's do a little, do one more thing for you guys. We're going to play off of this rhythm pickup. And we're going to do Knocking on Heaven's Door. And there you guys go. So, a little bit of Slash outro for you guys, a little bit of Knocking on Heaven's Door, a few little riffs so you guys can hear how this guitar sounds. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you pissed about it? Anything you guys want to say. I mean, you know, for me, you know, I'm a little torn. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm a little torn. I like the guitar. I'm going to keep the guitar. But the jury's still all out. So for me, if it was really worth paying $950 to my door, I mean, I got to say, I got to play it some more. I will say that it plays really well. Once it's set up the way it's supposed to be, it plays really well and it feels really nice. And it's kind of cool to have a nice Slash signature in my collection again, because I had one years ago and I sold it and I've regretted it. So for me, I'm going to keep it. And, you know, I'm not going to change the pickups. I don't think the pickups need to be changed. That's me personally. You guys can hate it all you want to. Questions, comments, leave them down below. Tell me what you guys think and feel. What's your opinions, you know? I really wanted to get one of these in my hands and be honest about it, you know, and that's why I said there was some issues and there were some things that I don't think should happen for that price of the guitar. But in the end, I'm fortunate enough to have a great guitar tech, and he can take a piece of crap and make it sound amazing. So I'm lucky that I have that. I know a lot of you guys don't. This is not a piece of crap guitar, though. It's a good guitar. I mean, I'm going to tell you, it's a good guitar. There's nothing wrong with this guitar. It's a beautiful, well-made guitar, and when it's set up the way it's supposed to be set up, it plays great, it sounds great, and it's going to get a lot of playing and a lot of use from me. I've decided I'm going to go back through and relearn the whole Appetite for Destruction album, which is cool because for me, that's what I want guitars to do. I want guitars to motivate me to play them. If they don't motivate me to play them or motivate me to write songs, then they're not worth having to me. And this guitar motivates me to play. So for me, I like it, and I'm going to keep it, and I'll be happy with it, you know. Again, is it $950 happy? I honestly, I don't know, because I will say that, you know, the classic that I just bought, the violet one, that is an amazing sounding and playing guitar, and it was only $450. So is there a big difference between this one and that one? Sound wise, I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at the visuals. You know, I can't say that there is. So, you know, when you look at that and I look at the price of that guitar versus this guitar, and I could have bought two of those for the price of this. Yeah, those are things you guys got to think about and you got to weigh out. I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, one thing I will say, you are paying for the name as well. You're paying for something that is Slash's signature guitar. You know, so that is something that does get taken into account when you buy one of these guitars. So, unfortunately, that name doesn't make it sound good. You know, it's just a name on a headstock. So, yeah. Is that worth it to you guys? I don't know. You guys tell me. You guys tell me what you guys think down below. I just wanted to be honest about this. I want to do a very honest and fair review of this guitar because so many people have been reviewing this guitar and they don't even have it. Stop doing that, people. Stop making reviews of guitars that you've never played or seen. You can't, to be honest. You know, you guys are trying to jump on the bandwagon because you know that you're going to get a bunch of hits on YouTube, but you don't have the dang freaking guitar in your hands. That's a bunch of crap, you know. I don't have any respect for any of you guys that are doing that. You know, if you guys are going to be honest about it, get the guitar in your hands, play it, and then say it sounds like shit. And say it sucks. And I'll be like, all right, man, cool. You know? But the other thing you guys got to look at is some people will pick up a guitar and think it sounds great, and other people pick it up and hate it. There's a lot of personal preference when it comes to guitars, you know. I really like this guitar. My guitar tech was really pleased with it. I will tell you that he didn't have any issues with it. Did he think that it should have Slash's Seymour Duncans in it? Yes, he did. We talked about that. He said that, you know, they should have put the Seymour Duncans in it. I agree. They should have. I'm not going to say they shouldn't have. I'm not going to sit here and say that they shouldn't have put it in there. They should have. It should have had his Seymour Duncans in it. I 100% agree. Do I think they could put them in there and still sell it for this price? Yeah, I think they probably could. I think they compensated that with a really nice case and these locking straps. You know, I mean, the locking straps are nice. They click in place really easy. They're a bitch to take your strap off, I'll tell you that. But they're nice to have. But is that worth it? I mean, I know most of you guys out there would rather have the pickups and no case than buy your own case. I'd probably say I agree with that. You know, I'd rather have the Seymour Duncans and have to go buy a case and then not have them. So that's you know, that's the hit or misses. You got a super nice case. I mean, the case is, you know, good, $150, $200 case, I guarantee you. You know, I don't know what the regular Epiphones go. I think they go for around $150 for a standard Epiphone case. So about $150. So I think that was the trade-off. I think the trade-off was is you get custom Pro Bucker, you know, extra wound, and you get a really nice case instead of getting Slash's Seymour Duncans. I think that was the trade-off that they made. I'm not sure. I don't know. But just wanted to make a really decent, honest review about this guitar for you guys. It is a really nice guitar. Hopefully you guys can see that. It is a really beautiful guitar. Flip it over so you guys can see the back. It does have Slash's thing on the back as well. It is a really beautiful guitar. And the Appetite Burst has always been my favorite. That and the November Burst. Those are my two favorites that he has. Those are the only two I would want. That's not a question. If you guys want to ask me, will I buy the November Burst? I don't think so. I think this is going to be the only one I get. I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, the Epiphone Standard that's in the Bourbon Burst I like a lot. And if you go look at the November Rain video, the Bourbon Burst is actually what he played because he actually had the covers on the pickups and he had a pick guard on that guitar when he's standing out there in front of that church playing. And that one actually is more like the guitar he actually played in the video. So I'm probably going to end up buying that Bourbon Burst. And that's just being honest. I mean, buying the Tobacco Burst or Bourbon Burst in the Standard instead of the Signature Series Slash. Just because, I mean, it's a couple $100 less. And it's, you know, looks more like the actual guitar that was in the video. Yeah, who knows? I may end up breaking down and buying the other one, but being honest, probably not. This will probably be the only one I get. And I'm going to keep it. I'm going to play it. It's going to be the signature one I got from him. And we're going to roll on with it. So that's just me being honest with you guys. You know, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you and sugarcoat it and say that this is the latest and greatest and best thing you need to have because, you know, it's an expensive damn guitar. You know, but I got it now. I shelled it out for it. I mean, everything I review on this channel, I pay for myself. I don't have any sponsors. So I shelled out the $950 for this freaking guitar to have it. So I'm going to play the crap out of it. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I hope this video helped you guys out. Hope it helps you make a decision on whether you want to buy this guitar or not. Whether you want to have it in your collection or not. It really boils down to you guys. For me, I'm happy I bought it. Would I liked it have been a little less, or at least had Slash's pickups in it? Yeah, I would have liked that. But in the end, it plays well, it feels well, it sounds really good, and I don't have any complaints other than the few issues that I pointed out to you guys. And now that my guitar tech's got a hold of it and got it set up the way it needs to be, it plays great. and sounds phenomenal, and I'm happy with it. So in the end, it's all our personal preference. It's all what we like and what we don't like in guitars. Honestly, a lot of people aren't going to buy it because the price is high, and I get that, and I don't blame you guys for that at all. And for those of you guys that can afford it, buy it, check it out. But at least for those of you guys that are saying all kinds of negative stuff, at least find one and play one and get it in your hands in person, and then form your opinions and say what you really think about the guitar. Because that's being fair. That's being fair. When you're making videos and posting videos and you haven't seen or played it or touched it, that's not being fair. And that's not doing justice to the other people that are out here looking to find videos that are doing this so they can make a decision whether they want to drop that kind of coin on a guitar like this. So if you're going to be honest and you say you want to do it, every one of those guys said they were going to do an honest and fair review, but they're not because they don't even have the guitar. So that's my personal opinion. You guys can tell me if that's bullshit or not. Feel free to tell me I suck. I don't care. But I'm trying to be honest so you guys can make honest decisions about what you want to do and whether you want to buy this guitar or not. I will say that, man, again, it looks awesome. It looks awesome, and it sounds good. There's nothing wrong with the pickups. It sounds really good. So if you guys want a Slash Signature Series guitar and you're a diehard Slash fan, just go out and pick one of them up. And don't complain about it. Go get one. Go play it. If you end up not liking the pickups, save up your money. Go buy his Seymour Duncans for $200. Drop them in there and rock out until you pass out. So that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. Do me a favor. Leave your likes. Do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and share this video, please, because that helps out the channel. And then comments, questions, anything you guys want to say. Tell me whether you like it or not. Tell me whether you know if they did weight relief in this guitar or not, because that's one of the things I talked about, because it's got some heft to it, but it's not stupid heavy. It's not going to wear you out, and I think you can play it for a long time. So, if there's anything that I missed that you guys know about the guitar, please post it down below, because I'm not Mr. Pro guy. I know everything about the guitar or know everything about guitars in general. I'm just a guy just a musician that likes to play. I'm a rhythm guitar player that likes to play rock and roll. So that's all I am. I don't ever sit here and say I'm some expert on anything I review. I'm just giving you my thoughts and opinions and trying to give you the best information I can on the guitars that I know and play and what I think about them. So don't sit here and say, well, he said he's an expert, because that's not me. So anyway, there you guys go. I hope this helps you guys out. I hope it helps all you guys out that are interested about this guitar and trying to figure out whether you want to buy it or not. And that's all I got for you guys. So you guys take care, and we will see you guys on the next episode.